Hello folks, David here, and it is day 13 of my end of year push to get as much done off the pile of shame as possible, which means that it's probably a little bit counterintuitive that I'm having to do a supply run, but there are a number of things that I need to grab from the shop in order to put like the final touches on some of the stuff that I'm doing. So it is a supply run this lunchtime. Hopefully we will be allowed to film in the shop. I have asked permission, but I haven't had a reply back yet. I'll just get down there and I'll ask them. We may have footage, we may not. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Not a paid promotion, and I will leave a link to their website down in the comment section down below. Well worth a look through. There's an absolute shed load of stuff, and they do mail order, and I believe they do mail order. You'd have to check on the website, but I believe they do mail order over the world, all over the world. You never know. All right, back to it. Okay, I have arrived at my destination. This is Iron Horse Hobbies, and coincidentally, back when I was working in town, it used to be the closest model shop to me. They moved premises, I changed jobs, and suddenly they're now the closest model shop to me. All right, let's go and see whether or not I'm going to be allowed to film inside. I hope this comes out okay. Oh, so first of all, yes, we have been given permission to discreetly film inside. This brings me back when I was, round about school leaving age. I volunteered on the Blaenau Festiniog Railway, and these were the kind of gorgeous beasts that I got to work around in real life. And see if I can take a bit of the glare off there. This one is the Merthin Emrys. Now, it wasn't in service at the time that I was volunteering there. The only double fairley engine that they had was the Earl of Merioneth. The Merthin Emrys was sitting in Boston Lodge, getting refurbished, and it was up on blocks because the bogies were being replaced on it. But yeah, that certainly takes me back a little bit. Oh, speak of the devil, there is indeed the Earl. Okay, yeah, I was up on the boilerplate of that one. Oh yeah, one thing that I should mention, obviously you're going to see price tags in here. Please do remember that is in New Zealand dollars, if it's looking a little bit on the more expensive side for those of you around the rest of the world. All right, I need to get on with my shopping. I know what I'm looking for. I want another pack of the yarrow trees. Yeah. These ones, because I'm running out. Actually, yes, I am looking for panel ink.
Panel ink?
Yes, I did see that it's for fine lining.
Oh, yeah, the Tamiya ones?
Yeah, I think it's the Tamiya ones.
They're just by that cabinet.
Oh.
That right at the end, the cabinet right there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
That one is gone.
Oh, yes please. Yeah, could I get one of the dark grey, please? Thank you so much. Right. Now, while I'm here, I am after a light ghost grey. Here's grey. Yeah, I was looking in the wrong place. Okay. All right, mission accomplished. Supplies have been gathered. I didn't show you around the whole of the shop. They do scale extracts obviously a load of model railway stuff. They also stock Warhammer and that kind of thing, and a whole load of model kits. A real mix. I think the first time that I walked into the new stock here, the thing that grabbed my attention was the Star Wars and Thunderbird stuff. So yeah, it's a good job that it's actually a destination trip. Otherwise, if it was within walking distance of work, it's entirely possible that a reasonable amount of my pay packet would not be going home with me. Anyway, I do need to get back to work. Got the supplies. I will see you in a couple of hours when I am getting on with the stuff back in house. Loads to do. All right, very quick recap of the goodies haul. Clear varnish, I've gone for a semi-gloss. I need that because the MDF kit needs that as an undercoat to stop it from warping. Trays, because I'm running out of them. Tin of Tamiya Light Ghost Grey. This is the colour that I use for base coating my Space Wolves. So you may be seeing some of them. I know I do have some that are still outstanding if I can find them. And the last thing, this is panel line accent colour. I have some panel pens that I want to try out, and some of those etchings that are on the MDF kits. By the time I've put a coat of paint over the top of them, they may be a bit on the indistinguishable side, so I thought I would give this a try out and see whether or not I can pick up those accents and just, you know, finish them off properly. Well, after the excitement of today's shopping trip, tonight has been a bit disjointed. About all I have had the chance to do so far is start putting some of the black on sort of what is going to be the brass trim on this Cornate Marine. But what I really need to do is get on with the middle section of the plaza. Now, there is a reason why I'm doing that. I've got 2 days off ahead of me, which is brilliant. But before the end of that, I would love to have this piece all completed. Problem is, to get the effect that I'm after, I am going to need to do at least 3 spray paints, and that depends on whether or not anything needs touching up. Once it's fully constructed, I need to do a clear urethane coat just to seal everything. I've then got to do the actual undercoat, and then I've got to put the top coat on. And at that point, we could kind of call it done. But what I actually want to do, I'll just show you on this as an example. You see where there are things that have kind of been etched into it, which aren't an actual sort of cutout. You know, that pops out. But the surround and things like that, the sort of like detail which is on there. And I do want to pick that out, and that's the reason why I got that panel ink, so that those bits of additional detail can be picked out. And I do want to do that using the panel pen because I've never used one before. And so that on a piece this size is probably going to take a reasonable amount of time. So I do need to get a crack on with this. I'm not going to film too much of it. I will show you where I've got up to, but I just want to get off camera and start getting these last pieces for it assembled. So I will do that. Okay, I've paused my construction because there's a couple of bits that I need to point out. For the center plaza, there's a flat plate, then there is this support, and these rings basically stack up on top. These two fit together in that cross shape, but the cut on them is not straight. There's a reasonable amount of filing that is needed to be able to actually, you know, get them to fit together. Otherwise they warp and sort of it lifts. I haven't got it completely flat. It is lifted on one section there, but it's an internal piece, so I'll probably be able to get away with it. You could actually see that the lines weren't at sort of right angles to each other, which you would expect. And getting it to actually fit into the plate, I had to file those down a reasonable amount just to get them to go in there, so that was not brilliant. Getting these rings off the sprues was an absolute nightmare, and they are so fragile that if you apply any kind of pressure, they just sort of fracture. That big one did start coming apart in a couple of places, as I was trying to remove it from the stack. So be very, very careful with this part. Would it have killed to have made them maybe a wee bit wider so there wasn't that same kind of fragility? Yeah, I don't know. And the cleanup, especially on the outside edges, is yeah, it's doable, but it's, again, because they're so fragile, it kind of lifts the layers of the MDF apart. So be very, very careful with that. I did have a go at starting to put the sort of ornamental bit together, and I guess I was expecting a tighter fit. They are very loose. I mean, that one, just as I've carried it over, has fallen off. And of course, because there's no wording on the instructions or anything like that, it doesn't recommend any kind of glue. You don't want to be using super glue on this because you're going to get that horrible furry thing. So I'm guessing it's going to be polystyrene cement, but just very, very small dabs in there as you're putting it together, because with it being clear, you don't want glue showing, otherwise that's just going to spoil the whole effect. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to have a think about that. But again, it's the lack of instructions or lack of clear instructions that are really letting this down. Oh, okay, that was a mission, and it's finally done. So that is the last of the major pieces of the plaza done, and I can get them off for a urethane coat tomorrow. I didn't get as much done as I hoped I would. As you've seen, I did have an awful lot of problems just in getting the pieces off the sprues and some of the construction. I had to take an awful lot of breaks. I could feel the frustration rising, so I was taking little breaks to calm down, and was just having to walk away, do something else, watch a bit of TV, come back to it. So not as productive as I would have hoped, but it is done and it is on to the next stage. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with that sort of decorative piece, because that's not getting painted. That's going to be going onto the model as is. So I'll tackle that over the next couple of days and get that done and ready. I also haven't done the seating that is supposed to go around the plaza. I am not too worried about that, because that's going to be a different colour and it is decoration. So again, I'll work on that, and we'll bring the whole lot together at the same time. It's been a big day. I did enjoy that shopping trip. There's something about just being able to walk around a well-stocked game and model shop that always lifts the spirits. Don't know whether or not you find that. I certainly do. But that is all for me for today. I've got to get some sleep. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Toodle pip for now.